Good morning, Keller High families. Thank you for joining us this morning for Coffee Chat, our last one of this school year. We hope you guys are doing well, and it's just crazy to think about that we are in the last 4 weeks of the 2020-2021 school year. These days are just flying by so quickly, but we are super excited. Things are busy here on campus, in the classroom. Teachers just continue to teach and engage our kids in high levels of learning and getting ready for those end of course exams and AP exams and the end of semester exams. And so just a lot of learning going on right now and review and things like that. Outside of the classroom, our kids are participating in all kinds of things, which still continues to amaze me. But this week we have had 6 of our Business Professionals of America, BPA students, participate in their national competition. That's going on this week and next. 6 of our UIL academic team students are participating in their state meet this weekend, today and tomorrow. And last week, One Act Play made it to the regionals round, but did not advance to state. But we're just really proud of how far they came and the show that they put together. Band and choir have concerts coming up in the month of May. It's fun to get to see these kids still perform and have those concert and performance opportunities that they've had in years past. Some of these things are going to take place outside, which has been a lot of fun to watch and be a part of. So in athletics, again, it's just super busy. Our golf team, boys golf team, is headed to state in a few weeks. One of our female wrestlers, Haven, placed 3rd in the state meet last weekend. So really excited for her. We have a couple of tennis players, Caleb and Yu Sungji. They placed 3rd at regionals yesterday, and they're an alternate qualifier for state, so really excited for them. Softball is starting as in the middle of their first round of playoffs. They finished 2nd in district, and then baseball earlier this week took 1st place in district, and they'll start playoffs next week. In track, we had a couple students, Landon and Gabby, that have qualified for the state meet in the shot put. And it's just really fun to get to see the kids that while this year has been challenging, the opportunities that our kids have had to compete, to learn, are still there, and just really a lot of fun to watch. And it's oftentimes that it's things like a play or a concert that we get to have that make this year feel a little bit more like normal. So continue to be grateful for all of our coaches, our teachers, our student sponsors that support and sponsor a lot of these activities that our kids do. It involves a lot of time outside of the school day. And just really, really grateful for all that our staff has done this year to continue to have these opportunities for our students. So speaking of, just kind of where we're at right now with COVID, our cases continue to remain low as we've gone these past few weeks. And as of yesterday, we don't have any, currently have any students that are out due to COVID-19, and that's whether it be a positive case or students that are quarantined. So I feel like we're starting to turn the corner on that, and I'm really excited and grateful. You probably have heard Dr. Westphal shared an email a week or so ago about next year and kind of where we're at. But as of right now, we are full speed ahead planning for next year with our master schedule, as if all of our students will be back in the building. And if our cases continue to stay low, the plan is that our protocols would go away. We would continue to reinforce the good hand washing, hygiene opportunities and things like that. But as far as masks and the need for desk shields and things like that, those items would be gone. However, I will say if things in our community and here at within the district change, then they'll have to relook at those items. So, but as of right now, starting in July, according to Dr. Westphal's email, that those protocols will go away. And starting in the fall, we'll have all of our students back on campus for face-to-face learning. And we're super excited for that. And we'll be glad to have everyone back. So we continue to appreciate your support as we go through this school year. The support that we feel from our community and our families is just incredible, and just super grateful for all that you guys have done, your patience, your grace, your understanding, because we know there's been bumps along the way this year, but have just appreciated you guys coming alongside of us and working hand in hand to make this a successful school year. So just wanted to share some dates with you as far as we go. as we go into the month of May, it's busy, of course. We've got AP testing starting next week, and our end of course testing next week. Ms. Holt's going to share a little bit more about that here in just a moment. We've got award ceremonies coming up. So just wanted to share, we will have award ceremonies for all of our students. For grades 9 through 11, the ceremony is going to take place during the school day, and we'll have a live stream for our families. Unfortunately, with COVID protocols still in place, we don't have a space large enough to hold our students and then their families as well. So, but we still wanted to celebrate them and their accomplishments this year. If you're in grades 9 through 11 and your student's going to get an award, you will receive an invitation and that information here in about a week or so. We're still making all of our final selections for class awards. They're called letter K awards. And then we're still receiving information on some other awards that we get from various places. So, but like I said, that will take place during the school day. For our seniors, we have been sending out information for you to share information about yourself, your senior. Because basically the way that ceremony is going to work is we will have your student come up and get to share all kinds of the good information or good things that have gone on in your senior's high school career. So you can go on to the Keller High School website if you go to students and families, and then there's a link to Senior Corner, and you can share information about your senior there. And then we will be able to put all that information on a little card, and then we'll share it out at the Senior Awards ceremony on May 24th. Kind of see the end of your schedule, those early release days, and graduation. And Mr. Montemare is going to share some more information here coming up in just a little bit. And then Ms. Holt will show testing information and a few other items. So a couple other dates I just want to make you aware of as we go into next year. We are going to, we still already have the lottery going on for our current juniors. They'll be seniors next year, but if they want to be a part of the selection to get a senior reserve parking space, that is currently going on, and there is a link on the homepage of the Keller High School website. So go out and check that out. Your student will put their name on the list and say, yeah, I want to be a part of that. I'm interested in having my own reserve parking space next year. And you put your name out there, and the rest of the details are out there on the website. So we also already have our fish camp information shared for our incoming freshmen. We have a walk the building day scheduled. That is a Saturday morning, and kids can just come in, walk the building, and kind of get a feel for the building and where their classes are at. We often have other, like our student organizations and things, come and set up tables so students can learn more about those organizations. We're still working out all the details, but I just wanted you to have that, put it on your calendar and kind of mark that date. So, and then our first day of school for next year is August 18th. So anyway, all right, enough from me today. Again, I just appreciate you being here and joining us this morning. We have a few other folks that are on with me, and I'll let them introduce themselves as their turn comes, but we're going to start out with Ms. Holt, our administrator over testing.
Hello, everyone. I'm Mrs. Holt. I'm the testing and AP coordinator for Keller High School. You've probably received lots of emails from me by now, but I just want to take a few minutes to kind of reiterate some things that have been sent out. If you were on the coffee chat last time, it's a lot of the same information, but just want to make sure that you guys know what's coming up and all the important info for that. So the first slide I have is over, AP testing. We are starting on Monday with government. They actually moved a few dates around, but the schedule's posted, and it's also on AP Central. If your student logs in, they'll see the most up-to-date exam dates for the ones they're taking. So we actually will extend all the way into Monday the 17th, but there are morning and afternoon sessions. Every kid that is signed up for an exam got an email last Wednesday with information on what they need to bring, what time they need to be there, where to report, and all that. So if you and your student did not get that, please just reach out to me and I'm happy to resend that to you. The most important thing I wanted to point out is the start times are 8 and noon for most of the exams. However, students need to arrive by 7:15 for the 8 a.m. exams and 11:30 for the noon exams. That's because that is the start time. So we have to take care of all the things ahead of time, like checking in, getting to their seats, reading the instructions and all that. So that way right at 8 or noon, we're saying begin. So other than that, if you do have a student that is quarantined during that time, there's still some digital options. Those will take place in June, but I will reach out to me, or I'll reach out to them, and we'll figure out a plan for that. But otherwise, those opportunities are just reserved for our students that are quarantined during that time. If you do have any kind of conflict, I know we have several kids going off to state for athletics. I've worked with most of them already on a plan if they're gone, but if you do know that you're going to be gone for an athletic event, again, just reach out to me via email and we'll work on a plan for making up that exam. You can go to the next one. And then next week as well, we have our STAR exams. Just a reminder, these are still required for graduation, so the students do need to take them in order to meet Texas's graduation requirements, which does mean that remote students need to come on campus to participate. The dates are there for you as well. And again, there should have been information emailed to you guys last week. If your student's not participating in testing those days, it will be asynchronous, so they don't need to come. Just a reminder, there are some AP exams on those days. So if you do have a student who is taking an afternoon AP exam, but they're not taking a STAR test, they're welcome to stay home and then just come up at 11:30 for their exam. We do have biology and US history online this year, unless your student has a 504 IEP that says otherwise. So students will need to bring their Keller ISD issued Chromebook for their exams. We will have extras available if they forget or if they don't have a Keller ISD Chromebook, but they need to bring one of those. No personal laptops can be used for that. I have sent out information on how to practice with the online exam. You can do a little tutorial that'll show you all the features. But again, if you haven't received that, just let me know and I'm happy to resend that to you. So again, the dates are there. Most students should be aware of which tests they're taking. Typically our freshmen who did not take and pass by algebra in 8th grade will be taking that on Tuesday, as well as US history for juniors. And then on Wednesday, our freshmen will take biology. And do have a handful of kids who have conflicts with their AP exams for those days. So those students have been notified and they will take their makeup STAR exam on Thursday and Friday of next week. So, but if you have any questions over any of that, feel free to reach out. That's it for me.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Ms. Holt. Okay, so I'm Daniel Monsmer. I'm the associate principal here at Keller High. I just want to share a bit about upcoming semester exams. Those are right around the corner. I know Ms. Simmons just shared our early release dates for that last week of school. So Tuesday, May 25th, as you can see, is a full day of school, but it's an exam day for first period and 8th period. So we have a bit of an altered schedule that you can see here. And this is also on the Keller High School homepage. Under the news section, there's a link that says semester exams for you to refer to the schedule and the exam exemption policy here. So Tuesday is a full day. First and 8th will be our exams. Wednesday and Thursday are both early release days. On Wednesday, the 26th, will be exams in periods 2, 4, and 6. And Thursday, the 27th, the last day of school, will have exams in periods 3, 5, and 7. But for any students who have an 85 or better in their course and have not had any discipline that resulted in ISS, OSS, or DAEP, those students can be exempt from final exams in those particular classes. If they would like to take the final exam to see if it helps their grade, they can still do that. And if it does help, then it will count. But if they are exempt and they take the exam just to see and it doesn't help their average, it won't count against them. So 85 or better and no discipline means that they can be exempt from the exam for those courses, and the teachers will let them know that last week of school on Monday. But they are certainly welcome to attempt the exam to see if it brings up their average if they would like to. All right, next slide. So a bit more information for our parents of seniors out there. Ms. Simmons did share about our upcoming senior awards ceremony happening on May 24th. So again, if you have information to share with us about your seniors and their accomplishments, we would love for you to do so by going to the website, Students and Families, and then Senior Corner. Some other graduation specific things. So graduation regalia pickup is happening today here in just a little bit. So from 10 a.m. to noon, we will be out at the back bus loop to distribute caps and gowns for those who have ordered them through Balfour. You should have received an email yesterday with the process and a receipt document for your student to bring. But essentially, they'll just pull into the softball parking lot off of Pate Orr, and then go all the way around the back of the school, and then we will be out at the bus loop at the back of the school to distribute caps and gowns. They will need to bring an ID, either their driver's license or student ID, and a receipt form that was emailed out yesterday with them to pick up their regalia. Graduation ticket pickup, that's going to happen in a similar fashion. That will be until the last week of school, I believe on Wednesday. May 26th is our day for ticket pickup. That is an exam day and an early release day. So if there are students who are here taking their 6th period exam, we will be able to give them their tickets between 12:30 and 1 o'clock. So right after school gets out, we'll be set up in the rubber gym to distribute any tickets to students who already happen to be here for that 6th period exam. But for any other students who are exempt or who are remote, we will have a drive-through pickup for them between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock. And it'll be the same format that we use for regalia pickup today. They'll pull into the senior parking lot, and then or the softball parking lot, and then around to the school to the back drive. And then finally, the deadline to request additional tickets for graduation is today. If you go to the Keller High School website, again, under the news section, there's a link there for graduation ticket information that has a link to the form to fill out to request additional tickets. Please do that by the end of the day today. Next week, we will be taking a look at our numbers and reaching out to those who have requested additional tickets to let them know how many we will be able to fulfill from their additional requests. Let's see. And then finally, senior spotlight. So we are still highlighting our seniors on social media. Our college and career counselor, Dr. Colvin, and the Go Center is doing that. So if you would like for us to spotlight your senior and their post-high school plans, there's a QR code here on the screen. If you want to pause the video and take a quick photo of that, it'll take you to the link to submit information about your senior and their plans next year. And we would love to be able to share that out on our social media pages and highlight their accomplishments and where the future is going to take them. But if you do have any questions about any of these things, semester exam related, anything regarding seniors and graduation, please don't hesitate to reach out, and I'll point you in the right direction. I think that's all I got.
All right, thank you, Daniel. My name is Wes Upton. I'm the lead counselor here at Keller High School, and one of the big questions that we're getting a lot of feedback on is the GPA policy. So we wanted to update our campus families on where we are right now with that. And this last board meeting on Monday, Amanda Bigby read a proposal for some language that was going to be presented as a preview to the board for potential approval at the next board meeting. So I just wanted to share what that was. Amanda read that the resolution will allow for a one-time exemption of a limited number of courses counting towards grade point average calculations for current freshmen and sophomores. Juniors will not be able to exempt courses because they will be reverting to the course weighting in place before the change of May of 2020. So this information was shared at the board meeting, and it's in the board meeting is recorded. It's towards the end of the board meeting, if that's helpful for you to hear that portion read aloud and hear what's being presented to the board. I do know district leadership is still having conversations about this GPA policy. The board members are still talking and gathering information about this GPA policy. I know our families, you guys are communicating with us and district leadership. So That feedback is helpful, and it's allowing us to make the best informed decision for our students. So we appreciate that, but we just wanted to give you the information that we knew at this time related to GPA policy. Our hope is that this will be ironed out here as we wrap this school year up, and then we can really get full court moving on, getting that information to our students and families so that we can make the best decisions on all of our course selections and planning for our life in the coming years and life after Keller High School. Other things not on my agenda here, but I just want to cover, Ms. Simmons will be sending out a newsletter for all of our parents. And so within that from counseling, we just want to make sure you take a moment to read the counseling portion. We've included a needs assessment. One of the things that we're going to focus on is looking towards next year and really understanding what the needs of our students and families are from the counseling world. We recognize this year has brought so many unique challenges, and we're so proud of the way that our students and families have handled themselves, but we also want to be prepared as we leave for the summer so that when we come back, we know many of or have some idea of many of the needs that our students and families have so that we can be prepared to meet those and come ready to start next year, fully expecting many of the things that our students and families may need support with so that we can be there to be there for our students and families. So please take the time. It shouldn't take more than 5 or 10 minutes to complete the needs assessment, but we would love your input so that we can meet your needs next year. And that's it for me, Ms. Simmons.
Great, thanks, Mr. Upton. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the reminder about the newsletter. I am putting that all together. We'll send it out early next week, but also included in there will be a survey. We always, at the end of every school year or toward the end of every school year, seek to get feedback from our parents, students, and our staff. And so that will be coming out to you, or like I said, early next week. One of the components this year, as Mr. Upton mentioned, and we seek this out every year, but I think is even more important as we go into next school year, is the needs of our students. We recognize that a lot of our kids have not been on campus this whole school year, and some have not been on school for almost a year and a half since the shutdown in March of last year. So we recognize that that could cause to be walking back in the doors just like a normal school year could be challenging for some of our students and families. So we want to make sure that we kind of gather that feedback so we can create a plan to come alongside and support these students as we start the school year in the fall. So that is where your feedback comes in. So if you have any thoughts or really concerns, you are welcome to reach out to myself, Mr. Upton, your students counselor administrator. You know, we're in the middle of planning the return and start of the next school year. So now is the time when we start looking at this stuff and trying to create plans to support our students and staff. So please don't hesitate to reach out and share whatever information, needs, thoughts, ideas you might have, because we do recognize that we're not going to just start right back up where we left off in March of 2020 prior to shutting down at spring break. So anyway, so please reach out if you have any thoughts related to that. We did have a few questions related to AP testing. A lot of our students take multiple AP exams over the next couple of weeks. And so, and our teachers are mindful of that. It's something we go through every school year. It's during those 2 weeks that really AP exams become the focus for those students. Even though they might be in other classes, those teachers recognize that the kids really need to focus on their AP exams. And so are mindful of that when it comes to homework and things like that. You know, don't be alarmed. If you have any concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to your student's teacher or have your student reach out if they're concerned about workload during those weeks, because we all know that these tests are really important, and students work toward them all year long, and our teachers really are working diligently to prepare them too. So it is an important couple of weeks in the lives of our kids. So we have had free lunches this year, which has been a really great opportunity for our students to get a free lunch and for our families to not have to pay. But what we've learned is that while you might think the lunch is free, it doesn't appear to be that way because your student gets charged for it. So what I have learned is that if the student wants to have the free lunch, they can't just go grab a slice of pizza and a bottle of water and then that's going to be free, because that's considered a la carte. So what they need to do is likely grab the piece of pizza, a piece of fruit, a milk, and maybe a vegetable. But our cafeteria ladies are very well versed and very, very helpful. So if your student has questions about if it qualifies for the free lunch or not, please don't hesitate to reach out, and you're always welcome to call the campus too, and we can connect you with the cafeteria manager, and they will be happy to assist, because obviously we want our kids to and families to be able to take advantage of this opportunity that they have, because it's probably not going to continue on into next year. I haven't heard for sure, but sometimes I know this was a different year, and there were opportunities that were made available that may not be made available next year. So, but don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions about that. District is continuing to work with Aries on many bugs and kinks that have occurred over this year. And it's just, they'll continue to do that. I know there's been concerns for some about how attendance shows up and how some of the summary pieces that show up. There was concerns about the summary email that families started receiving. And so I know they are working on that. I think ultimately we want Aries to be a tool that is helpful to you, but we also recognize that the information that you're receiving needs to be accurate. So, and the information that you receive needs to be relevant too. So if you have specific feedback about that, don't hesitate to reach out to myself, your student's AP, and we'll be happy to pass that along to district leadership as they continue to work with Aries over the coming year to make sure that the tool is functioning in a way that's helpful to our students and families and teachers too. So, and then the last question or kind of comment that came to us through you guys was about the virtual format for testing. So what I can say is that we will continue to have our students bringing technology. We were able to pretty much go one-to-one this year with technology, whether students bringing their own devices or have a school issued Chromebook, and that will continue next year across all grades in Keller ISD. And so because of that, a lot of things shifted to digital format. But what I do anticipate is that there will be some things that will change back to more of a paper format or conversational. We'll still continue to use a learning platform, and so that will continue. There will maybe still be some testing online, and the reason being for that is the state of Texas, starting next year, all of our end of course exams, so the tests that our students will be taking next week, starting next year, will all be online. And so in order to prepare our kids for that type of testing environment, it is important that they do experience an online test environment at times during the school year too, so that they're kind of used to that. I understand the challenge that it does pose for some students. So certainly reach out to your student's AP if that is a concern. It is something we can talk about. Teachers haven't, we're wrapping up this school year, so they have not finalized, or they probably haven't even thought about next year yet. So, and what that's gonna look like, and what types of things they're gonna continue to do online, and what things will revert back to more of an in-class or on paper, a paper pencil type activity or test. So, but certainly we're open to the conversation if your student struggles with that online format. But again, with the state shifting to all online for our end of course exams, it is important that our students know how to navigate and are comfortable on an online platform taking an exam. So that's kind of all we had for today. I have truly appreciated and being able to share a little bit of information with you guys each month, even though it's had to be through a virtual platform instead of being in person. We look forward to hopefully having our families back in the building next year. Thank you for your support with drop-offs and no food drop-offs. I know that just popped in my head, but I know that was a concern we brought to you guys last week, and that really has been solved this week. So I appreciate that. We just don't have a way to monitor and keep track of all that food that we could or maybe get dropped off for our students. So anyway, we appreciate your support in that. I look forward to having you guys back in the building next year. We do this type of event, coffee chat, usually the last Friday of every month. It's sponsored by PTSA. I don't want to forget to thank them. They provide coffee for our staff and often breakfast items and things like that. And we're just very grateful for their support over the years of this event, and we'll continue this in the fall. So mark your calendar. We'll start those up in September. and then hold those every month with different topics each month. And like I said, hopefully it'll be an in-person event next year. So I hope you guys have a great rest of this school year. It's going to go by quickly. I hope you have a fantastic summer. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you guys need anything. We are here to help and support in any way that we can. And I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Take care.